Hi everyone, it's Sue. Today I'm just here to have a little bit of a play around with some inks and some new dyes that I have got in the shop. So these cut beautifully. I've cut a few plain coloured cardstock dyes out of these, and I thought, I haven't used this one yet, this embossing folder, so I thought I'll just get on, turn the camera on and have a bit of a play. So I don't really know where I'm heading with this. I did actually see, I think it was on Instagram, a short video from Waffle Crafts, I think it was. I'll try and find that and I will link that if I'm able to, but I'm pretty sure it was Waffle Crafts. So they did a bit of inking. Their dye that they used was completely different to this one, so I don't know whether this is going to work, but I want to try and make some journaling cards, just something a little bit different, I guess, to what I normally do. So I've just grabbed some Distress Oxide ink pads out. Another thing I'm not great with is choosing the right colours, so I've just grabbed these, and I think we will see where we're headed with this. I'm thinking maybe this is a little bit too bright, the yellow. I'll just see if I've got another lighter colour. Okay, just grabbed a couple more. I'm not sure whether I'll use those, but we'll just see where we head with that. Okay, so I guess another thing that I need is just some plain cardstock, so I'll just grab that. As I said, I don't know where I'm heading with this, so I'm not as organised as I would like to be. All right, so I'm just going to use some plain white because I'm going to be inking and over top of it and then cutting it out. So what I think I'll do, so I'm going to take this now. This one is called Flourish Frame Die. I'll put the links down below in the description where you can find this. And I'm going to obviously be able to cut two of these out on this piece of cardstock. So I'm just going to roughly cut this in half. And what I want to do is just get a general idea of where the center is. So I'm just using a pencil just so that I can get a general idea. And I'm just marking that like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, just so we have a little bit of an idea. Okay, so I want to start with, so obviously this part here, this will be cut out. And what you're going to see is just whatever's below this. So I just want to start my blending from the inside out. And I think I'm going to go darker and work my way out and go lighter. So let me just think. I might do a couple of different options. What about that, and that? So frayed burlap, faded jeans and bundled sage. We'll start with that. So I've got these little brushes that I also stock in the shop from Uniquely Creative. So they're really good for blending. I'm not really great at, I've got a really heavy hand, so I tend to get a little bit too heavy with the blending. And this part here, as I said, is going to be cut out. But I like to sort of start, see how I said I'm a little bit heavy-handed. It doesn't really matter. It's going to be cut out with some finer detail, but I just wanted to try and blend it nicely so that we get some of this into what will be the die cut. Okay, so I think I'll leave that one at that one, and then we'll go, what did I say? Faded jeans. And then we'll finish off with bundled sage. It's a bit like a moody night, doesn't it? All right, so while we're going, I may as well ink this one, and I'm going to do it in different colors again. Let's go with, I'm going to tip it up this way so it's easier. We might go Vintage Photo, Broken China, and Worn Lipstick. I don't know, just for something different. All right, so I've only got the 3 brushes. So we may get a little bit of residue from the previous colors on here, but that's okay. Okay, so that one, Broken China. And then we'll go Worn Lipstick. Probably shaking the camera there, sorry if I am. Okay, so I don't know whether these are colours that you would normally put together, but we're going to run with it now. We've done that, so. All right. So I'm just going to get rid of those for a second. And then I have a big shot. And I've got larger plates. You don't need the larger plates, but I've got it because these are magnetized and I like the ease of using it because your die doesn't move out of place. Pick up my paper. And basically, I'm just going to line that up with where I put the lines before. And really, I'm not going to get much of that vintage photo color there. But anyway, that's okay. We'll see what it looks like. So these will be good just to, I mean, you could use them as frames, but even I might add some water and lift some of that ink and use them for stamping or something like that. And now I've also got, if I can find it, a little mat here that you can put this on and get rid of all the little bits without having to sit there and pick them all out individually. So you just run over gently. Like so. I don't know, I never have a huge amount of success with it, and I have to end up picking some of them out, but for the most part it gets rid of all of the little bits and pieces. I'm always frightened to press too hard for breaking it. Okay, so I mean, they didn't turn out too bad. I've missed a little bit up there. There's a little bit of the white cardstock showing. That's not a drama. This one's a little bit darker. That's okay, we can work with that. So you could obviously just cut this out in just a plain cardstock, use it as part of a collage piece on a page. You know, I thought you could even cut this in half and just have like a banner of something, you know, like a sentiment or something going. Well, you wouldn't even have to cut it in half, but if you wanted like a larger sentiment, you could have the top half coming from the top of the sentiment and the bottom half from the bottom of the sentiment, if that makes sense. So they're quite pretty, aren't they? Okay. So I'll just pop that on white card so you can see the colour. I don't mind that. It's something different, isn't it? This one's quite pretty. So I've still got like a few little bits and pieces to get out of there, but they look like they're just going to pop out. And so what I might do is I'm just going to do the same technique, but I'm going to do it for that Mandala die, wherever that is, over here. So this one is called Mandala die. And this one I'm going to put, and I'm basically just going to trace the larger points, and then once I've inked it and ready to cut it out, I'll just line them up with those there. Okay, so these are quite pretty. Maybe a little bit brighter, this one, than what I would have liked, but I think it's just a matter of experimenting with your different inks and probably quite possibly looking at a colour wheel and work out which colours go together properly. But as I said, I have no direction with this, so I'm just playing, just getting some items out and just having a little bit of a play. So they're quite pretty though, I think. So that's the same inks that I've used there, and then these are the same inks that I've used. So you can see here where the blue has blended with that, the vintage photo. I like that colour there, see here. So they're quite pretty. So I don't know, what I thought then, I might just make some journaling cards, and I wanted to use this, give this embossing folder a try. So I'm going to just get some, I've got some coffee dyed card that I've coffee dyed here. Just let me have a look, and yeah, see they're quite bright on that. But we can probably make it work. I'm just gonna grab, they get a little bit lost in all that pattern, don't they? So I think we'll just go with one of these plainer ones that I've got here. And I think I want to actually add a little bit of ink around the edge of this one, just to sort of soften how bright that is. Just make it a little bit more grungy looking. So what you could even do when you're inking your circle with your inks, you could just finish it off with the colour. So that's, I like that heaps better now because it's got that darker edge. I might just do a little bit on this one as well. I'll go here. So I hope you've all been doing really well. I haven't had very many tutorials out lately. I just have had a creative block. It's been happening a lot for me lately. So I was watching Corey Darman's Creating with Scraps video the other day, and she was sort of gave some pointers with regards to getting your creative mojo back. And I just thought, you know, I've just got to get in and get some things out and just have a play, and not have high expectations. You know, like you put too much pressure on, well, I put too much pressure on myself, and there's really no need to be doing that. So here I am, got these out, and I'm just going to have a little bit of a play around. So I'm thinking I like, do we want it on the really grungy side? I think I do. So I just need to work out approximately, I'm going to make this a journaling card. I'm going to cut this down to 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 inches by 4 inches by 5.5. So I'm just going to do 2 of those. Okay, so I'm just going to rough up the edges here if I can find my tool. Actually, I'll be putting this on coffee dyed cardstock, I think, coffee dyed paper, and sewing around it. So I might I'm going to rough the edge up now anyway, just to give you a look, because I can do the sewing part of it off camera. quite possibly what I should have done is used the die release paper or that sticky white sticky tape so that I don't have to worry about gluing this down, but that's okay. So I'm just thinking, do I want to add, or do I want to do a little collage or something in here? I can do that after, I guess. So let's get it stuck down to start with, and then we can decorate it a little bit more. I hope you're all doing really well. Hope you're managing to get some creating in. We're starting to get cooler here where I live, which is quite nice, although we had like 2 weeks where we were in jumpers, and now the last few days we've been back in our summer clothes. So I don't really know if the weather knows what it's up to, what it's doing. So that is quite pretty. As I said, I'll be backing this with coffee dyed paper and sewing around it. Okay, so that's that one. Let's do the other one. I was going to emboss the card, wasn't I? So maybe on this other one, I will emboss it because there's not as much coffee on this one. I might emboss this one. And this one is called Daisy, a uniquely creative Daisy embossing folder. That is really sweet, isn't it? I don't know whether you can see that. So it's really quite cute, that embossing folder. So let's have a look at this one. It just gives a little bit of texture to the card, but I am going to distress the edges as well. Just glue that down like that. So that is 2 different cards. So one is embossed and one is just the flat card. I like both actually. I think they're quite cute. And I don't know, I might just do a little collage with some florals and some tags in there. So let me just see what I've got. But you could even just leave it as simple as that and just put something like that in there. Let me just trim that down a bit. Okay, so even though the vellum, these are vellum stickers and they seem to sort of sink into your background, I still like to take some of that off there. So I'm just thinking maybe a little tag as well. So these are from Clear Black Creations, Nostalgia labels, and I have actually shrunk these ones down. I love these labels. I use them a lot. So I will also put Brigida's details down below with regards to these. I'll just cut one out and see if it's going to suit what I'm thinking. Oh, I think that's nice. Okay, so we will do that, and we might put a little stamp on that. I'm just thinking while I've got these stickers out, I'll have a look and see what I've got. That's quite pretty as well, isn't it? Right. I'm going to use these sample stamps. I love these. And I'm going to put, I'm going to do them in like a brown, a coffee colour. I can't find my little acrylic block, so I'm going to use the bigger one. It's a bit of overkill, but so I'm going to use some archival ink in potting soil. So it's all very sticking to a similar sort of colour scheme. I'll do this one as a figure 2 or something, I think it says. Okay, so I'm going to stick this down. I quite like that. Very simple, not much to it, but and what I'll do is I'm going to cut this one out, stick this down, and then I'm going to go to the sewing machine and just back these and sew around them, and then I'll be back and I'll show you what the finished card looks like. Okay guys, so I have sewn around those. I like to leave my threads, as you know, so I'm just trimming them down, and I am going to go and distress, because I've normally I would sew them and then distress them so the back is done as well, but I'm just going to distress from the back, and then I'll add a little bit of ink. So this is a really good technique if you're looking at wanting to use your die cuts in a different way, your your die cuts, your dies in a different way, and you want, or you don't have cardstock to match whatever your project is, grab out your inks and use a bit of colour and customise them to suit whatever project you're working on at the time. So just going to add a little bit of ink here. And hey, there you have a couple of gorgeous little journaling cards. So easy. I don't know which one's my favorite now. I really like this one with the texture of the embossing in the back, but I love the simplicity of this one. So I think they're both really lovely, and I love that technique, so I will be using that again. I just was interested to have a play and just see how it turned out. And so these are the mandalas. I might try and do something with them as well down the track, so not today though. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I really love how these have come together. So yeah, it's a good idea if you're looking to customize something, one of your dies for to suit a journal that you're working on. Get out your inks and give this a try. All right guys, I hope you're all keeping really well, and I'm going to head off now, and until next time, I hope you get a little bit of crafting time in. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.